covering the triad in white and slick surfaces. And folks, buckle up. It's just the beginning. Our forecasters are predicting winter precipitation all day long.
We're keeping track of power outages in the area as freezing rain threatens to bring down power lines. And right now, our live team Sunday morning coverage continues. We have crews all across the triad monitoring conditions firsthand in Guilford and Alamance County this hour. Welcome to WFMY News 2 Mornings at 11, streaming exclusively on WFMY Plus. I'm Megan Malaris.
And I'm Lauren Coleman. The storm started with some snow and sleet, and now we're expecting that freezing rain, which could lead to slick roads and even some power outages.
Yeah, we'll get to our live crews in just a moment. First, let's get the latest check of the forecast with meteorologist Ed Matthews. Ed, you said that while kids like mine might be sledding right now, the worst is yet to come. It's not time to let down your guard.
Oh, absolutely not. I tell you what, we've been looking at some things this morning that suggest that some heavier freezing rain is going to be moving through our area roughly between about 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. And I don't see how temperatures can go above freezing. We're in the teens right now. So when this batch of precipitation heads our way, it could really accumulate ice rather quickly. Now, this batch of precipitation that we've been looking at through the morning is lifting to the north. Look how the precipitation is really kind of wound down over South Carolina. And we may have several hours where there's not much going on here in the triad. But with the winter storm tracking to our north, the associated cold front lift in the atmosphere, lifting this moisture, is headed our way. Note the yellow and orange coloring here on the radar. That's some heavier rain over areas of Mississippi and Alabama and into Tennessee. When this crosses the Blue Ridge, and I think it will hold together, I think between about 4 and 8 p.m., we could see icing really start to accumulate rather quickly across the area. But after about 8 o'clock, the front moves on down east, and the precipitation will be over with. And again, I don't see how we can recover or go above freezing between now and 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. We are holding solid in temperatures that are in the mid-teens. This is a very, very strong wedge of Arctic air that's right over our region. So we're going to watch that batch in Tennessee as it heads our way. It could bring some major problems and significant icing. So again, we are not out of the woods yet. Maybe over 1/2 of an inch of ice, 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch here in the triad and points on to the north. And it's reflected in our forecast. Notice how the probabilities of precipitation remain rather high right on through the early evening, and then they start to really drop off as that front moves on down into eastern North Carolina. I'm not totally sure that we're going to make it into the 20s. I think the bottom line and the real concern is that we're going to stay below freezing, well below freezing, as this ramped up precipitation moves in later today.
Well, right now, our WFMY News 2 team is scattered across the triad, keeping track of conditions. We have WFMY News 2's Manning Franks keeping track of Guilford County. Manning, what are the updates now? I know that you were just talking to someone from Duke Energy.
Yes, Lauren, right now I'm at their operations center on Fairfax Road, and right now this is where kind of the hub on their day-to-day operations takes place, and there are some linemen that are currently on standby. They are waiting to go and fix any issues that may arise. Right now, the good news out of all this is that there are no widespread outages. Now, there are some scattered across the different counties that we have here, but there is none that is a widespread outage that is going to have to be fixed for a large amount of time, that takes a large amount of time to fix. Now, that could change over in the next couple of hours. I was just talking with their representative, Logan Stewart, and she was telling me that a lot of the time that they're waiting right now, that people come from 20 plus states and even from Canada. And it's kind of amazing these people have come down here in preparation to help us. for a situation like this, because as I was talking to her, I know for myself as a North Carolinian, I'm not used to a weather of like this, to where I literally am just talking and there is steam coming out of my mouth. It is so cold right now, and as those cold temperatures continue to drop and the precipitation continues to come from the sky, we could expect some outages, and hopefully they're just scattered and they're not widespread, but only time will tell as we get into the evening hours of Sunday. But right now, no news is good news for the time being, but we will keep you up to date here in the city of Greensboro, as well as all across our different counties here in the Triad. Live in Greensboro, I'm Manning Franks, WFMY News 2.
Yeah, it sounds like those power crews should rest up because the night could be long for them. WFMY News 2's Giselle Thomas is live in Alamance County this morning. Giselle, you've been in the Burlington area tracking all kinds of changing precipitation. What are you getting now?
Yes, right now the rain has definitely picked up a bit. That freezing rain, that is. We can hear it kind of going, and you can see it also on my head covering, and also the chill. It's definitely a bit chilly. So we actually moved to downtown Graham, and that's actually where I ended up meeting Mr. Marcus Miles. He's a 5-year resident here in Graham. I wanted to ask Marcus, I know just being able to come down here, you said you were looking to see if one of your favorite restaurants were open.
Yes, ma'am, I was. And they wasn't, but I met you guys, so. And it's very cold out here, and as you see, the streets of Graham are looking kind of clear right now. They're doing pretty good right now, so.
Tell me a little bit about just how did you prepare for this winter storm? Tell me a little bit about, too, if you have power in your home.
Yes, ma'am, I actually does has power. The county of Alamance made sure they do it pretty good with that. I have plenty of water, and our electricity is still going, so that's pretty good right now.
That's great to hear. I know right now, I know you said today you had the green light to stay home from work.
Yes,
tell me about just how you're kind of preparing for the rest of this week. What is that looking like for you?
Right now, I'm kind of playing in my ear because as you see, the roads are still kind of slushy a little bit. But hopefully by Monday, it'll be cleared up. I think we can pretty much, get back and forth, hopefully.
And the last thing I have to ask, I know, first of all, just the fact that you're being able to talk with me now in this freezing weather. I wanted to ask about I know you said you've been here for about 5 years.
Yes,
have you seen anything like this before? What is
first time ever seeing something like this in this area since I've been here. I think a couple years ago, we had like a little dusting, but this right here is the most I've seen, so yeah.
And also looking ahead, I know the messaging from law enforcement, from also state officials, is making sure that people are off the road. I know I've been checking in with Department of Transportation, also EMS, and they say that the roads have been clear. What are you seeing in your neighborhoods?
Well, it's pretty clear. I'm saying people get in and out, and navigate through it. And I'm just glad there hasn't been any crashes, anything like that. They put salt on the grounds and stuff, so people pretty much going, but it still's coming down, so. I can't tell you how it's going to be tomorrow or tonight, but for the most part, it's looking good.
Last thing real quick, just tell me about the importance of keeping together with family during this time and staying safe.
Oh, man, if you with your family, please stay with your families. It's warm inside. Eat good, relax, chill out. You got a couple days off from work. You know what I mean? Just have a good time, guys, and hopefully this storm don't take us under.
Most importantly, stay warm out there, you guys. And again, right now we are in downtown Graham. The freezing rain has picked up a little bit, but we're going to continue to monitor these conditions throughout the rest of the day. Make sure you're staying safe. Live in Graham, Giselle Thomas, WFMY News 2.
Giselle, I know his favorite restaurant there will appreciate at least that he tried to go give them his business this morning. Well, Greensboro crews are out and about on the streets, as we heard from the mayor earlier, working 24/7, really. I talked with Mayor Kay Abuzawader earlier in the show. She said she appreciates everyone's hard work and those who are heeding warnings to keep the emergency crews safe.
The crews have been out 24/7, as you know. And first, I want to thank you all for providing this coverage for the public. And second, I want to thank our teams who are out there risking their lives to make sure that everyone here is safe. I do want to say that this is one of the first storms we've had in quite a while. I think you are well aware of that. And I do appreciate the public heeding the warnings that, this sleet and ice and the way this is coming down is something to be concerned about. And yes, they are staying off the roads as best we can tell. our emergency personnel don't want to be pulling people out of ditches when someone else may have had an emergency that requires emergency status immediately. So I want to thank the public as well.
It's probably best that you stay inside for today, but if you do need to leave the house for whatever reason, be on the lookout for frostbite. Make sure you wear warm layers, avoid staying outside for long, and seek medical attention right away if anything seems wrong. Here's what you need to do right away if you think someone has frostbite or maybe even hypothermia. Get to a warm area as quickly as possible and remove any wet clothing. Warm up with dry layers of clothing or blankets. And be careful, do not use hot water or artificial heat sources for warning. And don't run or put pressure on frostbitten areas.
Right now, it is still best to stay off the roads. If you do need to go to work, perhaps have your winter weather car kit at the ready just in case. I packed mine up last night. You never know if you'll get stranded somewhere, and it could take crews a while to get to you. Here are a few things you should have in your car at all times: jumper cables, a first aid kit, a flashlight, and of course some snacks and water. Make sure you have warm clothing, boots, gloves, hats, and blankets.
The governor declared a state of emergency and advised folks, hey, don't be on the road unless it's necessary. So is you being at work necessary? Well, it depends. This is a fact. A general state of emergency does not get you excused from work.
Your employer can require you to come to work. The fact that a state of emergency has been declared really doesn't make any difference. When that changes, though, is if they place in travel restrictions or they impose a curfew.
The North Carolina Department of Labor has an entire section dedicated to adverse weather and employers. In the FAQ section is this. It specifically answers, if the governor declares a state of emergency, can your employer make you come to work? Here's what it says. The decision to stay open or to close for its employees to remain at work or to leave early, or for its employees to report to work or not during adverse weather conditions is entirely up to each individual employer.
It's a good time right now before it's, Sunday night at 11 p.m. It's a good idea right now to figure out what your options are and figure out what your leave is and do you have leave and so on and so forth. What you don't want to do is tell your boss, I'm sick, and then have posted on Facebook some picture of you skiing on a toboggan standing up or whatever.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. Bottom line here, North Carolina is an employment at will state, which means an employer could fire you for not coming in even during a state emergency. But why let it get to that point? It's worth having a conversation about the situation as early as you can.
And good morning, Piedmont Triad. We are looking at some trends that are leaving me to believe that the worst is yet to come in icing later on this afternoon and into the evening. Now we zoom into our area. If you recall watching through the morning, we've been talking about this area over Georgia and South Carolina where the precipitation, there's kind of a lull in the precipitation, and this is tracking our way. I think what's going to happen over the next several hours, it's not going to be completely stopping in terms of any frozen temperatures, any frozen precipitation, but we may see more of a kind of a freezing drizzle situation for a little while as this lifts up on into Virginia. But what I'm watching, and this is associated with our storm's cold front. The low pressure tracking to our north, but the associated cold front is moving into the Tennessee and Ohio Valley and the lower Mississippi Valley. Look at this. Notice the yellow and orange coloring here. That's where the rain rate is heavier along the cold front, and that is headed our way. I think that batch will be moving through our area probably between about 4 p.m. and about about 8 o'clock this evening. And then once it moves on through, the precipitation is going to wind down and pretty much come to an end. But the concern, even though a lot of this is just plain old rain on the other side of the Blue Ridge, we are in a real strong cold wedge with temperatures that haven't moved this morning. We are in the teens. Now, as that rain comes in, it'll try to grab some warmer air aloft and bring it to the ground. But I don't expect these numbers to go above freezing. So the problem is when that steadier rain moves in, freezing rain, we're really going to start to see a pretty rapid rate of icing accumulation across our area. Again, the time frame is about 4 p.m. until about 8 p.m. And you can see these temperatures haven't moved. We're in the teens and we're still dealing with some single-digit wind chills. So folks, this is not over yet at all. And down to our south, we're still looking at maybe a half of an inch or more of ice in the immediate triad, and up to the Virginia border, we're looking at about 1/4 to a half of an inch of ice here in the Piedmont. The low pressure tracks on to the north. Here comes the cold front. That's what's going to bring the heavier rain for a period late today and into the evening. After it moves on out, we're going to have dry weather, but extremely cold conditions as we go into the first part of the new week. We'll continue with the icy conditions and rain and freezing rain that will be with us into the evening.
All right, welcome back to WFMY News 2. We are streaming live here on WFMY and WFMY Plus here at 11:20. If you're just now joining us, we have live team coverage as we have since 5 in the morning as we've seen the progression of this winter weather. That initial burst of snow, then sleet for a long period of time, and now this threat into the afternoon of some pretty bad freezing rain. So power crews are staging, so are our crews on scene.
Yeah, we have our Manning Franks and Giselle Thomas and Tanya Rivera. Let's go ahead and start with Manning out in Guilford County. Manning, it looks like complete white behind you. It looks like conditions have definitely gotten worse since we last checked in with you.
Yes, that is absolutely certain. At this rate right now, we are still kind of getting some sleet and a little bit of freezing rain, a little bit of a mix, as it has been on and off all morning. I am right here again at Duke Energy's operations center here, right off of Fairfax Road. This is where the hub, most of their day-to-day operations and planning goes into play. And at this time right now, we are just in a waiting period, as they are, because the linemen so far, as I've said prior, no news is good news. And right now, the good news is that we have no widespread outages in the Triad area. Yes, we have some scattered outages at this time, but that's nothing that the linemen can't fix. And we have, as we mentioned before, from 20 plus different states and Canada that are currently here on standby, ready to rock for us at a moment's notice. Now, the good news is, when I was talking with the Duke spokesperson, she was telling me that that with these outages, they are not to be sent home until they have given the all clear. So they are here indefinitely until the storm has passed and the danger has gone away. But we will keep you up to date should we learn of any more widespread outages, or should anything continue to deteriorate, as we expect the conditions to do later this afternoon. Live in Greensboro, Manning Franks, WFMY News 2.
All right, it looks like we're having a little bit of trouble with Giselle's audio. We'll check in with her in a little bit, but when we spoke to Giselle earlier today, she's out in Alamance County in the downtown area, where she spoke to some people who are walking around looking to get some breakfast. And what we can see is a lot of businesses, they're closed or they're closing early. We actually just got an email from Harris Teeter saying that a lot of the Harris Teeters in our area are going to close at 4 o'clock today. Right. So if you didn't get some of the things that you needed before the storm hit and you have to be out and about, the Harris Teeter will be open till about 4 o'clock today.
Yeah, we also got an email earlier from Haynes Mall in Winston-Salem, and that's worth noting, not because you're going to be shopping for clothes or whatever you need today, but because the malls are likely a place where people are going to go and seek warmth if they lose heat in their house. So please note, Haynes Mall is closed. You can find a full list of the actual shelters in any part of the Triad on WFMYnews2.com. I think we have Giselle back. We've worked through that audio glitch there. Giselle, what are you seeing and expecting there in Alamance County in the hours ahead?
Yes, so just making sure you guys can hear me now. So all throughout the morning, we've been in all places in Alamance County. Right now, we're in downtown Graham. Earlier, we were on South Church Street, and then we were also on Alamance Road. Now here, we've seen lots of different DOT trucks come throughout the area. They've actually been plowing these streets. That's how you can see the difference between the white snow that's down there and also the ice. And then you can also see the ground that's here with people driving through. Traffic hasn't been really busy at all, which is how it's supposed to be. Transportation officials are saying that they only want you to be out on the roads unless it is necessary or an emergency. Also, I just checked in with the Department of Transportation, also checked in with EMS and also other services, and they say that they haven't responded to any weather-related calls. So that is a good thing. That means that you guys are listening to that messaging, and we're hoping that that stays that way. Not too long ago, I spoke to a man who said that he's been living here for about 5 years, and he was looking out to see if his favorite restaurant was open. It ended up being closed. Down here, there are a lot of places that are closed, but the main thing is people are staying safe, they're staying home, and they're keeping to themselves. I know here, I think we just saw what looked to be like a couple that was walking down the street. So people are really just taking the time to enjoy this weather. But again, this is something that should be taken seriously. It is extremely cold out here, so you want to make sure that you're dressed properly, and also making sure that if you do have to come outside, you're just out for a little bit. That's if you're walking. And then also, if you're driving, want to make sure you're only out for emergencies. Live in Graham, Giselle Thomas, WFMY News 2.
All right, thank you so much, Giselle. We've been covering the roads and the skies. We did just get an update from PTI Airport. They were saying that the airport remains open while some flights continue to operate. The airlines have canceled most flights, so you are urged to check with your specific airline before you drive to the airport. And at this time, the upper level where the departures and ticketing is, that remains open, but if the conditions get worse, they're going to move everything downstairs. So just stick with us as we keep you updated about those airline changes.
All right, yeah, I'm on the Fly From PTI website, which has the updated list of arrivals and departures. Almost all of the arrivals right now are canceled. In fact, every single one I see listed here. There are some departures that are operating on a delay and could be subject to cancellation. There is a flight heading to Atlanta scheduled to take off in a few minutes. We'll see if that happens. Earlier, we talked with a reporter at Hartsfield-Jackson who said there are some flights taking off there and landing there. Of course, Atlanta is a big hub, connecting hub for flights into and out of Greensboro. Let's check in on the status there.
A handful of flights are taking off, although about 1,000 coming in and out of Hartsfield have been canceled for today. That's just a small portion, though. About 10,000 U.S. flights canceled as of today. So not only here, but the Charlotte airport not looking good this morning. Yesterday it was Dallas. Today Charlotte and Atlanta. The northeastern airports, New York City, Newark, all going to be bad also. So not looking good in terms of air travel. There are still some people trickling in here, and you know, most of these flights that are leaving are heading off to places like the Caribbean, really warm destinations. So definitely sounds like a nice plan at this point, because we're at 31 degrees in Atlanta right now with some light rain. As far as the freezing rain, though, and the ice threat here, it appears to be a little bit better, at least as of now, than what we thought earlier. Right now the rain has kind of diminished, and although we're below freezing, it is not a widespread ice storm by any means here in the metro area. Now up into North Georgia I can't say, because it does look like temperatures up there are even chillier, and there's still plenty of rain going on in the North Georgia mountains. But the airport is ready. They have 9 brine trucks, they have de-icing equipment, and they also have some multitask vehicles that are new this year. Those have snow plows, brooms, and blowers on them. So really preparing for this major event. Anytime the word ice is mentioned in Atlanta, it is definitely all hands on deck. And the airlines have really done a good job at canceling these flights ahead of time to avoid any further headaches. So it's going to take a while, though, to unravel this mess, that's for sure.